Hello Captains, it's me TONIK TZW with a little bit of watch and learn here on capture points for those of you that are interested in playing destroyers and learning that you don't always have to be in it to win it when we're talking about capture points, of course. Yeah, you do have to put your ship in there eventually, but you don't have to overcommit. So first we're going to look at what I like to call a supported push, where I'm in division or I'm on comms with somebody random in the game, and we're going to use the strengths of our ship and the support that we have behind us to dispatch red team's destroyer, because destroyers are the key to winning a game. The reason being, they are responsible for spotting, they are responsible for taking capture points. Their torpedoes do a huge amount of damage, and they can take care of those big angry battleships for you, but to let them do that, you have got to help them to take care of the little guys. And I do keep saying that whenever is a destroyer is spotted, every single person should be shooting at it. We've crept up to the edge of the cap. We've got very low concealment on the Schoenberg, but we also have a very long range sonar. So we're going to creep forward very slowly to see if we can pick up on the detection. There's one set of torpedoes going out of the side there. We are going to continue to push forward. It looks like he's moving around the capture point. Set of torpedoes coming in from our left there. They run out. And we're going to continue this creep. We're going to push our sonar range out to the edge of the cap, light the guy up, and then we are going to keep him spotted for everybody. That battleship on the right hand side, good to see that people have absolutely wellied him. This ZF6, he has fast torpedoes, but he's also hard spotted. I'm creeping quarter speed forward in my smoke, picking up a little bit of speed. We're trying to keep him in range of sonar so that the team can do whatever they can. And if you look at the placement of red team, you'll see that there's something else wrong with this ZF6 being in the cap. It is that he's got no support whatsoever. Now, he's managed to escape for the time being, but he needs to get away from us. But can he get away from our sonar? There is a Nelson there on the left hand side. Always keep your head on a swivel, understand what is going on around you, and I am going to engine boost forward, and I am going to get this ZF6 picked up again. Sonar's running, we see his torpedoes coming with plenty of notice there, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to fire my guns, because remember, there's a Nelson on the left hand side of me. He would probably delete me in one salvo. We're still on the cap, we're holding this guy on range, everybody is shooting at him, and he has got about 10 seconds left on his smoke screen that he dropped, and that gives me an opportunity to put a couple of salvos out there, and we can finish him off. At the same time as we kill him, we take the capture point, and that is a supported push. This is another example of that. I should have called it the supported sacrifice, because you're going to look at this one and say, TONIK, you were absolutely stupid. What the hell did you think you were doing it in this one? But we're in that free ship that I got, the Bortas. We are running sonar. We've got both destroyers spotted on sonar. There's a wall of skill coming from the Mars. We're going to try and put some damage on him. And again, I'm in division, so I am supported. But red team's destroyers are both on this cap. They haven't got any support apart from those guys way out there on the flank. I'm going to make a mistake and run face first into this island here, but everybody is wailing on that destroyer as the Fubuki comes around this corner. Obviously, with a tier 5 wall of skill, I'm going to die, but I don't care, because I'm taking him out with me. But it's not over yet. There are only 2 destroyers per team. The shots are still going out at that guy. He's going to take hits, and he is gone. We won that one. They were literally herded into a corner, and believe it or not, I still finished top of the board. I was laughing at that one, especially considering my two fleet and division buddies supported the entire game. This is in my dash. It's an unsupported push where I'm on my own. But again, I'm going to use the strengths of my ship. These two guys on my right-hand side, as well as I think it was a battleship beside me as well, they are in division. And I don't like to use the P-U-S-S-Y word, but they had 3 ships in division, obviously all communicating, but they really did not want to support me. But there's radar goes up there. I think it's a Belfast. I don't want to say outright, but my secondaries are going. I'm pushing out. Looks like a couple of the destroyers have already fired their torpedoes. We get a close quarters and the first blood there. Look at this. There are 4 destroyers on red team, and believe it or not, but 3 of them are on this capture point. This guy is contesting. He's sat broadside. He's spotted. Not really where he wants to be, but the Kiev is going happy bunny with his guns, keeping himself spotted. He obviously has no understanding about the capacity and ferocity of the Flanders secondary guns, and I'm firing my main guns at him too, because every single hit point counts here. It doesn't matter. Everybody should be gunning that. But look at my right hand side. Those 3 guys have literally stopped dead in the water, not wanting to push with me when they are absolutely the best support that I could get here. We've got a New Orleans across there. Red team, 2 destroyers down. I take a couple of torpedoes. The carrier is going to harass me. But look at this. We've got a Z-23. He's come in too close. I'm just going to turn into him. I know I've got the battleship on my left-hand side, but I need to avoid as many of these torpedoes as we can. But this guy is banged to rights. He's going nowhere but face first into that island. And I am going to pop his little cherry for him and pick up my 3rd kill of the game. Turn into the Amagi. We've got a cruiser on the left-hand side. Red team have lost 75% of their destroyers in the opening minutes of the game. I am pushing this cap hard while I wait for everybody else to try and catch up behind me. The battleship is my next risk. I'm going to let my secondaries do a little bit of damage to that New Orleans. He's going to turn into me because he realizes he is in a very bad spot, continuing to sail broadside to me. The New Orleans is hiding behind a rock. The guys behind me are actually going to put some fire out on him, and he's going to stay hidden because he knows my secondaries will rip him to shreds. I'm getting reset on the cap, so I'm going to get out of it because there's no point in me being in there constantly getting the cap reset when I can try and do something to this Amagi. But here we go. My gun turrets are traversing. Somebody else there, it is the carrier, I think it is, does a bomb drop on him. 4 ships down. I am now sat here. The carrier is going to harass me, and I didn't survive this game, but I did finish at the top of the team again. But red team's carrier is going to harass me with bombs and torpedoes. I'm still waiting for that division there on the right hand side to make their decision about whether or not they're actually going to move forward and help. But this New Orleans is between a rock and a hard place. If he comes out here, he's dead. The planes get him, he's dead. And that was that. This is a full game. It's in the legendary tier Dansk. It's called Hold and Push. Well, the game's not called Hold and Push, but it is an example of when I talk about the fact that you do not have to sail straight into a capture point and take it and risk your ship. As long as you can prevent red team from taking that capture point, you can prevent them from gaining the advantage on points. So you don't have to be right in it. All you've got to do is stop red team from getting into it and flipping it to their colour. Now, sorry, I'm not in the Dansk, I'm in the Kutsonis, the tier 8 Kutsonis. I do apologise. Now, they've nerfed the radar on these things, and this was just before the update came out. and they nerfed the radar. At least I think it was. I'm trying to think. I have so many games saved. But 3 destroyers, biggest risk to me, probably the Lucian, because he has that long-range sonar. So if he gets under the cap, there's a good chance that I'm going to be in sonar range. So what I'm doing is I'm backing up slowly into the cap. I'm not scared of his torpedoes, obviously. But he is on the cap, and I'm going to back up slowly. I can see where my twist and track / perceptive indicator is. Z52's got a long-range sonar as well. So we've got 2 potential risks here. The Z52 is the main risk. We pop the radar, there's the Lucian, and yes, I'm going to hit my smoke screen in just a second, expecting the 2 ships behind me who have been asking for support forever to put some fire on these things, but no, they're obviously engaged elsewhere. I was also trying to get them to shoot at the Puerto Rico, a radar cruiser that's at the north end of Charlie Cap, but they didn't want to shoot at him either. They were more interested in the big battleships. Now, that Lucian knows that I've burned my radar. It takes 1 minute to flip a cap. I've got about 1 minute 30 for my radar to reset, but the Z52 has disappeared from red team. There is the GK pushing wide on the flank, so I'm going to turn around and I'm going to just give him a little wake-up call by putting some torpedoes across to the right-hand side of this map. The Lucian has not decided to come back just yet, and even if we don't hit this GK, if he sees those torpedoes, it'll give him something to think about. And I really do wish that these destroyers were able to fire both sets of one side, because they turn a little bit like a bus, and it means that it does take a little while to get turned around and get back into the capture point. And I'm looking here, there is the Halland, and I'm thinking, do I get guns on for this guy? No, he's bobbing and weaving, he's turning back in there, but he is taking fire, and that's a good sign. There is a destroyer there putting shots on him, but this Halland is going to escape by the skin of his teeth, and quite literally, again, everybody should be shooting at him if they've got a shot, but not everybody is in a position to get a shot. And I'm thinking I'm going to have to push in against this guy and potentially the Lucian and do something about them, because the Lucian is back on the cap. So I bang my radar out there knowing that I can cover the cap. We're going to go guns. Now what I'm thinking is this Lucian is looking for somebody to spot me. There isn't anybody that can spot me, so he's going to shoot his guns at me. That's brilliant, because it's going to keep him spotted and nobody can see me. So we do a fair amount of damage to him there. We're going to blind fire his smoke screen as he disappears as well. Just pop a few more shots, we get some resets off him. So think about it, we've got the GK who stuck on the right flank, we've got the Lucian who stuck in a cap, the Puerto Rico who hasn't pushed in to support his destroyer, and he would be really good at supporting his destroyer. He could potentially get in behind that island at the other end of Sea Cap, and he could use his radar to light me up like a Christmas tree and allow this Lucian to take me down. But I'm guessing some people have more money than sense and more money than their ability to play the game. So I've got 29 seconds here, coming up to 25 seconds for my radar to become available again. So all I'm going to do now is move in, contest the cap, put some torpedoes through the smoke screen. The cruiser at the back behind me has fired his torpedoes. I'm going to try for a Hail Mary on that Halland. It's not going to work. I do get spotted, and that means that the Lucian is out of a smoke. He takes a torpedo, and that salvo finishes him off. I'm feeling happy with that one. So we are quite a way through the game, but as you can see, by playing this cap and preventing red team from taking it, we have pinned 3 ships here, the Puerto Rico, the GK and the Lucian, and we have prevented them from going anywhere else on the map. So we didn't have to push straight away. We didn't have to be in there. We didn't have to get into a direct slugfest with that Lucian, and eventually the guys behind me did come through. Now, although I've turned the audio down on the actual match itself, I was asking those guys for support constantly. You can see my mic lighting up, and I was saying, oh great, now that the destroyer's gone, you've now decided that you might want to come in and give me a little bit of help. But help isn't coming yet. Now they're shooting at the Puerto Rico because they can't see the GK. Well, guess what? I'm not going to hang about here. We've got 2 caps. This match can be over if we take a third. It all makes it that little bit quicker, and obviously capture points, cap resets, cap assists, they're all worth big XP, and that is one of the reasons why you should always be in a position to support your destroyer when they're on a capture point. I know that I'm preaching to the choir with many of you that play destroyers and know the way I play destroyers and try to teach people to play destroyers. I am going to get spotted by this Halland, but he is low health. It's going to be a couple of salvos, and I'm going to turn into him because he gave me a broadside, which means there are torpedoes on the way. I am running quite a funky build on this guy, and I do carry some extra hit points. As you can see, 26,500 hit points there on this ship, which means that I can soak a torpedo from the pan-European destroyers because they're not all high yield. Most people can afford to take half a dozen torpedoes for something like a Jaeger and still keep sailing and heal themselves out of it. But we got rid of that last destroyer. You'll see that I'm barely on 19,500 damage so far in this game, which is by no means a big tally, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, the damage is not everything in this game. While we wait for that flood to stop ticking, we're going to push into B cap. It's an uncontested cap, there's nobody here, and it's always good for XP for the end of the game. Somebody did ask me for intelligence data there, so I basically pinged the location of the 3 ships on the map. As if it wasn't obvious, you've just got to look at the mini-map and see where the shadows are. I think the reason he was asking for intelligence data is he's so far away from everything up there on the 10 o'clock position of the mini-map that he can't see anything. Should have gone to Specsavers. Now, the 2 guys that were behind me for all that time that we were on Charlie Cap, they finally decided to come forward when really the best place for them would have been to stay exactly where they are, because that GK has finally pushed around the side of the island. He's taken himself out of the game for 2/3 of it. Literally, he sat behind that island doing pretty much nothing for 2/3 of the game, but in coming round the corner he did take out our cruiser. Our Burgoyne here is now screaming for assistance. He's come up on mic and said, oh yeah, you're all great at barking orders down the mic and asking for support and things, but when we ask for support you don't come and support us. I was like, mate, you're just gonna have to wait until I take this cap guaranteeing us a win, and then I will come and support you, even though you didn't really support me for much of the early part of the game. The GK is on the cap, and that means we're probably going to be able to get a cap reset or 2 off him, which again is worth XP for the end of the game and is going to bump you up the rankings. And we're just running in here. We're going to pop our radar. We're going to run our smoke just in case the Burgoyne does an absolute runner and we lose sight of this guy. And I'm going to get enough time here to get my first rack of torpedoes off. And I did say earlier that I wish both racks were on one side here. Now this GK could turn straight into the island, but we're going to discover that he's running the RGA mod, picks me up at 3 kilometers. I'm already in reverse because we are spotted. There's no point in staying hidden, so we are going to shoot our guns, and then we see the Puerto Rico there who's finally come in. We get 4 torpedo hits. Now we're going to try and get a fire on the guy. We're going to turn away from him, use the island to try and screen us from the Puerto Rico. We know we're going to take secondary hits off the GK, but we're going to just keep the pressure on that guy. We're going to turn around, get our second rack of torpedoes off, and then we're going to look at that Puerto Rico just to see what's going on. We can't get a shot on him. Go on the GK again. Torpedoes are looking good, but the Puerto Rico goes out right before the torpedoes hit and end the game. We more than doubled our damage before the end of the game, ended on 55 and almost a 5,000 with 2 kills. We've got 2 solo caps, 10 cap resets there, plus the torp hits and a flood. Finishing top of the board there on 2,823. So it just goes to show again, you don't have to be pulling a huge damage game to be finishing up there at the top of the board. Caps are king. I've said it before and I'll say it again. So if you have learned anything from that video, please do smash that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments if you want to know anything more about this game. And you know, you can always make a donation through the super thanks. You can take out a channel membership as well for as little as 99p a month. It supports me, helps me keep the channel running, helps make it worthwhile, and it gives my little boy Charlie some extra pocket money. So as always, until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.